All right, and good morning from Bountiful, Utah. This is so beautiful. Just look around. It's spring break right now. So if you're considering moving here, just don't, because this is what your spring break will look like, unless you're okay with it. We've had over 2 feet of snow, and it's the first week in April here in 2023 at my house just this week. And up here where I'm filming, there's even more. So welcome to spring break. In other news, I've been spending the last week with this Jeep Compass Trailhawk, and it's honestly taken me by surprise. I was a little bit skeptical going into it on what the Compass was going to be like, especially at its price tag, and I wasn't quite sure how it fit in the lineup with like the Renegade, Cherokee, which is dead, but the Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, and so on. And so I was just curious, didn't really know what to expect, to be honest with you. And I can happily report that after a week of daily driving this thing, it's pretty great. This is a great little SUV, and I think it's probably underrated in its segment. I honestly really liked it and I warmed up to it in ways that I wasn't quite expecting. So let me show you around and let me take you for a drive. That's the most important thing, and help you kind of understand some of the Compass's strengths and maybe where it's a little weak, but also like maybe why you should consider it amongst its rivals, amongst the competition. And anyway, let's go check it out. Okay, so here's the exterior of the 2023 Jeep Compass Trailhawk. Fully loaded pretty much. This is really cool. I think it actually looks pretty great. I mean, I kind of tend to like Jeeps and their styling, but I think this little Compass is pretty sweet. It looks rugged. You have your tow hooks, your road recovery hooks. You've got this, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the hood badge, but it does look pretty cool. The red, the silver, and the black. It looks really great together. It's a good combo, decent ground clearance. It's compact, gets really great fuel economy. And it's pretty nice to drive. Coming into the Compass, you've got your Mountain Dew Zero, of course, it's required. But you're treated to some nice materials. I mean, it all feels pretty good. Soft armrest, the buttons all feel good. You've got a nice Alpine stereo. These are supposedly premium leather seats, and while the leather does feel nice, I don't think it feels premium like some of the other Jeep products, like in the Grand Cherokee, for example, that is definitely premium. If you had to guess what material this is, you might be wrong. I thought it was like plastic or like carbon fiber. It's actually kind of like a rubbery material, which is kind of crazy. I like this little like kind of heathered plastic silver look. It's pretty cool. You've got this nice touchscreen. I still think the Uconnect 5, some of the icons are a little too small, which I'll show you that in just a second, but you've got your nice steering wheel. It kind of slopes back right there. Your buttons, adaptive cruise control, pull on parking brake, 4-wheel drive low. Anyway, different drive modes you can select here. Let's start it up. I'll show you that sequence. Digital gauge cluster, which personal preference, I'm still not the biggest fan of, but it looks pretty good. Yeah, and here's the Uconnect 5. You can tell it's just a little, to hit the heated seat, for example, it's like, you gotta be right on it. And it's not my favorite, but it does look really good. The cameras are amazing. Very sharp, great resolution, as with other FCA products right now. I will say this, that the parking and the sensors are very sensitive in this. There's the full digital gauge cluster. And so they get to be a little annoying while parking or backing out of your driveway, or, just even driving on the freeway. They get to be a little sensitive, so just keep that in mind. You can see it's really nice materials. You've got this massive, panoramic sunshade and moonroof. Looks really, really good. It's huge. Here's the back seat. It's all right. it's, this is a compact SUV, so I'm not expecting it to be very, really spacious, but I'm 5'9". I've got a few inches behind where I would be sitting. So if you're, a taller driver and you've got a taller adult back here, it might be a little tight, but I'm fine. And this back seat is actually like pretty squishy and it's pretty comfortable. You've got, your charging ports and vents. Here's the view back here. Just makes it feel nice and open. And then coming into the cargo area, it's all right. It's honestly not as spacious as I thought it'd be, but hey, if you have the opportunity to lower the rear seats, you're gonna have a lot of space, tons of space. And there's your spare tire. Really nice to have your Falcon Wild Peak. Okay, let's get this thing out, take it for a drive. Hit that button and there you go. All right, here we go. Starting off in the Jeep Compass 2023 Trailhawk. Woo! Okay, so like I said, I was initially really skeptical, and I'll be honest with you, my first time driving this, I was going to pick up my kid in the carpool, and I wasn't overly impressed. Like initially, I found the engine to be pretty noisy, and you could hear a lot of kind of whining going on from the transmission and from the engine, and I didn't love it. But I gotta say, like I already said, I've really warmed up to this thing and I genuinely like it. Like, I think that this is a good little SUV. Here we go, going up a hill, floored. Okay, so this makes 200 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque, which is not a lot. And I was skeptical. We spent some time in the Grand Cherokee 4xE not too long ago. And when that thing is run out of battery juice, you're pretty much running on that engine, and it's about the same power. And I wasn't crazy about it, but that was like a lot bigger and it was heavier and all of that. So I will say this, while I do wish for more power, I just wish maybe the V6, I could just had that here, like the Pentastar V6. I think it's a good engine. This isn't bad, and it gets up to speed. There's torque in the low end that's always kind of there, that gets you up and going when you need to. And here we go again. I mean, yeah, it's punchy, And so, is it my favorite engine? Probably not, but I think it's pretty well suited here. And it gets up and goes, Another thing about it too is that it gets pretty great fuel economy. I mean, that's kind of the trade-off, right? You're not making a ton of power, and I thought fuel economy would really suffer, but here in my week of driving, overall in my week of driving, I've been averaging about 25 miles per gallon, which that doesn't seem too bad, for what this is. So some other things that I really liked about the Compass is, first of all, the ride. I think that this rides really well. This is a pretty bumpy road, and it does a good job. It soaks those things up. I do think that this would actually do pretty well off-road, although I don't know who actually takes a Compass off-road. I mean, this is the Trailhawk, trail rated, and all that cool stuff from Jeep, which we know and love. I just don't know who is actually gonna do it, but I think it actually could if you wanted to, and so pretty good option. Let's take a look at the window sticker here for just a minute. So totaled out, what would you guess this cost? Totaled out, this cost $46,290, including destination. That seems really high to me. We've got a bunch of cool options, but I don't know if it's worth the cost. Like the driver assist group, like I already mentioned, that includes stuff like park sense, parallel and perpendicular parking, and unpark is just park your own car, right? And that package is $2,600. You do get the 360 surround view camera, which is really cool. A wireless charging pad, which the wireless charging I think in general just isn't that great, but it's also not great here, but it's cool to have if you're into it. But just go without. That's $2,600. Park your own in your parallel parking, right? The Trailhawk Elite Group comes with the full digital gauge cluster, which is okay. You know, Alexa's built in, which I haven't used because my kids love to try to order stuff off of Alexa, which, whatever. Integrated voice command, yeah, power 8-way, heated and ventilated front seats, those are pretty nice. You know, remote start, which I've used a lot because it's been obviously freezing here during spring break in Utah. You know, but that's also $3,200. And then you've got almost $2,600 for the Alpine sound system, which is okay, it's good. And this huge moonroof. So if you took those away, that's, you know, like almost $8,000, which there you're more around like 37,000 bucks for this. And that's, I think, where you need to be with it. Okay, so just some other driving impressions. This thing on the freeway, which I'm not on right now, obviously, is rock steady. I really liked it. Like commuting in it, driving, you know, 30 miles one way and driving my kids around wherever, like, it's rock steady on the freeway. It's this handling and suspension, the ride quality is pretty superb. Honestly, like, if you're in the market for something like this, just like a compact, small SUV with great gas mileage, especially, you know, if you're just on the freeway, I'd imagine this gets over 30, which is pretty awesome. Actually, yeah, this is rated at 32 miles per gallon on the highway. And so, yeah, on road trips and stuff, that's pretty good. So anyway, if you're into like buying, you know, a compact SUV, I know that some of the competitors get all the attention, but this Jeep Compass is legitimately great. Again, especially if you're willing to forego some of those other options that are pretty expensive and get this, you know, in the upper 30K range. I think you've got yourself a pretty compelling little SUV that has decent off-road capability. I mean, I didn't have it crazy off-road, but we've had a ton of snow here and like deep snow, and it's done really well. Like, I didn't get stuck at all just with these regular all-terrain or all-season tires that are on here. You've got your different drive modes for rock, sand, mud, and snow. And so you've got those. You can drop it into four-wheel drive low. You can walk the four-wheel drive. It's got hill descent. Like, again, I'm not really sure who goes off-roading in a Compass, but if you wanted to, this is well equipped, and you can feel that. Like, I felt that this week as I was, you know, traversing some pretty crazy snow-covered, like, just around town, because we've had over 2 feet of snow in the last, you know, few days. There has been only one thing, and I don't know if this is just specific to my model, but like the engine would stutter sometimes. Like upon acceleration, it would kind of just like and like cause the car to kind of like lurch forward. That only happened once, and so I don't know if it was just a fluke or it was just cold or something, but anyway, just, I don't know if that's necessarily an indication of long-term reliability, but it was something that did happen. So in conclusion, I think the Compass is pretty great. Like, not just saying that. I really enjoyed driving this car, and it's like a great little daily driver. It's punchy, you know. I do wish for just the Pentastar V6 in here, but for having this little turbocharged 4-cylinder, 200 horsepower, which again is not a lot. It feels like more than that, but that 228 pound-feet of torque does a pretty good job, and it's kind of fun to drive, you know. It's just, and it feels good. The heated steering wheel is like definitely one of the weaker ones that I've ever experienced, which is kind of surprising given that the heated steering wheels that I've had in other FCA products are so hot. Like, I was in the Ram 1500 last week, and that heated steering wheel is amazing. It like will burn your hands. So anyway, it's a small little thing, but guys, go check out the Compass. At least go check it out. I think it'd be, you know, a pleasant surprise. Like, the cargo space isn't like totally amazing, back speeds, but this is like a small SUV, and so go check it out. I think you might have some things to really like about it, and obviously there's a few drawbacks, but you know, get it down to closer around 40 or upper 30K range, and I think you've got yourself a pretty good car. So thanks for watching and subscribing. As always, I really, really appreciate it. This has been fun. I hope these videos help you find a car that you love. Like, I love cars. I've owned so many of them, And I think that most people are just like really one car away from finding something they really enjoy and just loving cars. Like, anyway, look for my written review as well. I write all my stuff for KSL.com and for Everyday Driver on their blog from time to time. And it's been a lot of fun. My wife also does it. And so if you go to KSL.com or go to KSLcars.com and click on the resources tab, you'll see a ton of content there that my wife and I have written for KSL. And it's been just a lot of fun, so we hope these things help you. Anyway, thanks guys. We'll talk to you later. See ya.